One-dimensional, sugary candies aren't usually my thing, but marshmallows are a different story. Make a s'more and I'll come running before your campfire toasting twig has a chance to cool. But a few years ago, when I was prepping for a s'mores making party, I just couldn't pull the trigger on the jet-puffed purchase. It's been a few years since my days sitting around the Camp Longhorn campfire, and today I know a lot more about what goes into processed foods. I don't want tetrasodium pyrophosphate or Blue One in my marshmallows. Making marshmallows at home is fun, simple, and a little bit messy, but they're super easy to clean up after. Homemade aren't just better because they're additive-free. The texture is so much better than store-bought, plus they melt and toast like a dream. Since the marshmallow mixture is really sticky, I start by lining a 13 by 9 inch baking pan with a foil sling. Remember to let the edges hang over by a few inches. This will give you something to hold on to when it's time to remove the firmed up marshmallow from the pan. I also spray the sling with vegetable oil spray to prevent sticking. The key to marshmallow structure is gelatin. Without it, they can't set up and you'd end up with something more like marshmallow fluff. Start by blooming 2½ tablespoons of gelatin in your mixer bowl with ½ a cup of cold water to soften it. Just sprinkle the gelatin over the water and let it sit for at least 15 minutes. While that's sitting, you can switch gears and prepare the sugar mixture. In a saucepan, combine ½ a cup of water, 1/3 cup of corn syrup, 2 cups of granulated sugar, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Since we want to avoid any possible crystallization, be careful when pouring the sugar into the pan. Pour it into the center of the pan and try not to get any on the pan sides. Now, just one note about corn syrup. I'm not a huge fan, but I decided there's no getting around it here. I tried making them without it, and they just didn't come out right and weren't worth the hassle. Plus, this is the plain corn syrup, not the high fructose stuff, so it's not all that bad. Bring everything to a boil over medium-high heat. You can swirl the pan gently from time to time, but don't stir it. Let the mixture go for about 6 to 8 minutes until the syrup reaches 240 degrees. At this point, the 15 minutes for the gelatin should be up. Go ahead and secure your whisk attachment and flip the mixer to low to break up the gelatin a bit. Then slowly and carefully pour in the hot sugar syrup. Try not to hit the side of the bowl or the whisk to avoid splattering. Now gradually increase the mixer speed to high. After a few minutes of beating, that steaming, near translucent, and kind of smelly liquid will turn opaque white and expand to nearly fill the bowl. You'll think, gee, I'd better stop. Well, don't. It isn't quite firm enough. Keep going. You want to mix it for a full 10 to 12 minutes. The key is to keep going until the bowl feels just barely warm. I just touch the bottom outside of the bowl every few minutes to check it. You don't want it to totally cool off or you'll make a heck of a mess getting it out of the bowl, but push it as far as you can to ensure firm, springy marshmallows. Toward the end, I also like to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. If you want to get creative, you could also try another extract like mint or coconut. What happens next should happen fast. Using a spatula you've sprayed with oil, scrape the marshmallow into the prepared baking pan. This mixture is sticky and stringy and gets harder to work with the cooler it gets, so be speedy. Don't try to scrape every last bit out of the bowl. If you start futzing with that stuff, the blob in the dish is going to firm up into some strange, weird, uneven shape. Once you've gotten what you can out of the bowl, smooth the top and set it aside. In a small bowl, whisk together ½ a cup of cornstarch and ½ a cup of confectioner's sugar. Sift a couple tablespoons of this mixture over the marshmallow and save the rest for dusting the marshmallows later. Then cover the marshmallow and let it set up overnight. The next day, dust a little of the cornstarch mixture on a cutting board and spray a chef's knife with oil. The marshmallow will be nice and firm at this point, so you can pull the foil sling out of the pan and peel off the foil. Sift another 2 tablespoons of the cornstarch mixture on top of the marshmallow before cutting it into 1-inch wide strips. Then cut these strips into cubes. Respray your chef's knife if you feel like it's starting to stick. You could also cut them smaller if you wanted to make cute little minis. Working with a few marshmallows at a time, roll them around in the cornstarch mixture, then toss them in the strainer over the sink to get off the excess powder. The marshmallow can be stored in a Ziploc bag or airtight container for up to 2 weeks, but take them to a cookout or a winter party and I don't think you'll be coming home with any leftovers. And that's it, homemade marshmallows. Your s'mores and your hot chocolate will never be the same. They also make a great holiday gift, especially when you pair them with some homemade hot cocoa or mix them with graham crackers. You can find this recipe and 100 others in the America's Test Kitchen DIY cookbook. There's something in here for everyone, from how to make those graham crackers and hot cocoa mix I mentioned, to Greek yogurt and sriracha. It's really cool stuff, so check it out.